Hi everybody and welcome back to the KK Zone. As always, I am Kara Kaufman coming at you on this Sunday afternoon. Happy Sunday everybody. Unless you're watching the Yankees game, in which case it's probably not such a happy Sunday, so hopefully you were doing something else. Yep, you guessed it, the Yankees lost the series, they got swept by the Rays, they have lost 5 in a row now, and of 6 games this week, they managed only to win the first one on Monday. Things do not look good in the Bronx right now, that is for sure. So without further ado, let's just dive right in and talk about what happened this afternoon. Ready, set, go. Yankees lose to the Rays, final score 2-4. They took an early lead, which I think was their first lead in, it felt like weeks early in the game, but then they blew that lead and then could not take another. It was tied 2-2 late, and then in the 7th, the Rays ended up taking a 3-2 lead, which blossomed to 4-2, and that was where it ended. The good news here is that Gerrit Cole is awesome. Yeah, he just looks so good. Incredibly sharp, 10 strikeouts again today in 6 and a third innings. He tried to get to the 7th, it was a valiant effort, but alas, one amazing Cole does not a winning team make. So, we had Chad Green come in, he was pretty effective, and then Darren O'Day, who managed to give up a home run, his first to a lefty in almost 3 years. So just everything that can go wrong pretty much has gone wrong. Giancarlo Stanton hit a line drive home run into the right field seats. That's nice to see. DJ LeMahieu came up with men in scoring position and hit a single to score one. That was new and exciting. But overall, just the bats, they're not hitting. I felt terrible for Cole, too, because of the 3 runs he ended up allowing, only 2 of them were earned, and really, potentially, none of them would have scored, or 2 of them wouldn't have scored if the outfield defense did not let us down. Hicks made some rough plays out there, and Clint Frazier airmailed a throw, allowing someone to advance an extra base, just like sloppy. You could see Cole trying his best to get as far as he could, and, you know, the bullpen's been good, too. The pitching has been good. You can't fault anybody on that side for losing this game. The bats, they must awaken. Yeah, I think that about covers it. I'm not going to belabor this game too much. Cole really looked incredible. He had that one rough inning, which 1 unearned and 1 earned run scored, and then he was already at 100 pitches going into the 7th, and just some unfortunate luck there. There were 2 straight hits that allowed a run to score. Susugo, who has been just terrible at the plate, managed to find a changeup and hit it to center field to score a run. It was just poor luck all around, with a combination of then, you know, that everything is amplified when you're not scoring runs. So this is really my concern. The components are clearly there. Everyone on this team should be good. They are performing. But it feels to me, we always say that errors are kind of contagious. And you watch it in the Yankees defense. Someone muffs a ball and then someone else does. It just feels like the second it starts, the doubts creep in and then everybody starts making mistakes. But are good plays contagious too? Can they be? Gosh, I hope so. Because wouldn't it be amazing if there was one day, maybe even our next game on Tuesday, when somebody just made an absolute sparkling gold glove type of play, and that just really inspired everyone to think, oh, that's right, I'm good at defense too, and then they did play good defense. That would be incredible. And with the hitting, it's the same thing. At this point, it just feels like the Yankees are kind of in disbelief that they're playing this poorly. So they are now 5-10, which is just empirically bad. It's actually their worst start in the first 15 games of a season since 1997. Yeah, it's a while, and it's really, they're the worst in the American League still, and the only team in baseball with a worse record than the Yankees right now is the Colorado Rockies, who aren't even pretending to try to be good. So that is not where you want to be. It is shocking. And it kind of feels to me as though this entire team is just completely stricken by the fact that this is happening to them. They're shocked. But the problem is, when you're feeling disheartened, the second one thing goes wrong in a game, it just snowballs, because it's hard to play yourself out of that mental space of, here we go again. As a fan, it feels that way. The second the Rays took a lead, I was like, oh, this is over. And thinking back to other Yankees teams recently, 2019, for example, they were never out of it, and you always felt like, oh, that's okay, they'll come back. They'll come back. In this game, it's just kind of waiting for the bad thing to happen. And I think that will turn around. But they got to find some way, just some positive energy to actually build on and hope that that can carry them. And Gerrit Cole tried his best to be that positive energy today. He was great. He's been everything you could possibly ask for. But it wasn't quite enough to push them past the finish line on this one. They've been absolutely dominated by the Rays in the past 2 years. Luckily, I guess, they don't see them again for 3 weeks. So maybe in that time, we'll looking at something quite different. In the meantime, they have their first interleague series coming up. They're facing the Atlanta Braves starting on Tuesday. Braves are in a similar situation to the Yankees, not quite as dire, but they too are a really good team that has been just losing a lot. So I guess we'll see what happens there, but I'm hoping some positive spark can arise and the Yankees can seize it and play better, as we know they can. I was joking with the girls that I text with about the games regularly that we should maybe smudge the stadium, and I don't really believe in that, but at this point it couldn't hurt. Like, what things can we do? Has someone buried something under the stadium that's cursing us? I don't know. Can we get a wizard in there to cast some kind of positivity spell? Something, anything. At this point, I'm willing to try whatever. So let's get on that, Yanks. Maybe figure out how to get a positive vibe back in the Bronx. And as ever, we have yet more baseball bingo. Yeah, 2 today. First one involving the Yankees, which is Jay Bruce, theoretically our first baseman sometimes, who's been not playing because he's been really ineffective, today announced his retirement. So this was his last game. He is now retired from Major League Baseball. Congratulations to Jay Bruce on what truly was a very good career, mostly with the Reds and then with some other teams, Mets, Indians, now the Yankees a little bit. He just was saying it seems that he couldn't perform the way he wanted to perform anymore, and it did look a bit like that. He was riding the bench the last week or so because it wasn't happening at the plate. He's not a first baseman, it wasn't happening in the field. So happy trails to Jay Bruce. By all accounts, a lovely teammate and really, really great guy in the dugout. So happy to have had him influence all of our young guys, and happy to have him hopefully start a new exciting chapter of his life. Also, we had player retires midseason on our bingo card, so if that's you, check that right off with thanks to Jay Bruce. The other bingo that occurred today is we have had our first milestone. Amazing. And this one is Carlos Santana of the Kansas City Royals, who as of yesterday has just reached 1,000 career walks. Impressive stuff. He's had 10 already this season to get there, so he's clearly got a good eye. He's making use of it to get on base. Good job, Carlos Santana, and good job for whoever had that bingo square. And it is Sunday, so that means it is time for the weekly Zoni Awards. Yes, thank you. It is time to give out some hardware. Reluctantly, because to be honest, with a minus 14 run differential this week and having only won 1 out of 6 games, there's not a lot of good to reward here. But nevertheless, I will start with the weekly category of Best in Show. There's no choice. It's Garrett Cole. He won it last week, and he is our first back-to-back winner because he is basically the only person performing up to potential. He's done everything you could ask of him. The guy has pitched 12 1/3 innings. He has only walked 1 batter and struck out 18. That's great. He's giving everything that he possibly can, and he looks just as good as we would have hoped. That's all I got there, but Garrett Cole, keep on Garrett Coling. We're really appreciating all you're doing. Best in Show. The next award we have to give out today is Delightful Mo. And that moment this week is going to be an off-the-field moment because not a lot to be delighted about between the lines. However, as I talked about in an earlier episode, Jackie Robinson Day was this week, and a couple of the Yankees did a really cool thing. Aaron Judge, Aaron Hicks, and Giancarlo Stanton all donated their Jackie Robinson Day salaries to the Players Alliance. Aaron Boone also joined them in that, as well as, I believe, a couple of other teammates. And the Players Alliance is a group aiming to increase Black representation in the sport, which is fantastic and sorely needed, and they're doing fantastic work. So really cool of those guys to donate that meaningful day's earnings towards an equally meaningful and very aligned cause. So props to those guys. That is my Delightful Mo of this week. No one's getting Best Swing this week, so I'm not awarding it. Instead, we're giving out a Zoni for Least Worst Bat. That's right, who was the least terrible at the plate this week? And this was a tough one. There were not a lot of options to choose from. I think I've ended up with DJ LeMahieu. We love DJ, we know he's gonna be great. This week, he led the team with 5 hits. That's pretty sad because they played 6 games and only he even had 5 hits. But regardless, that's good. I briefly considered Giancarlo Stanton for this spot because he led the team in runs batted in with 5, and that is the place the Yankees have been struggling the most is driving in runs. Both those guys struck out 8 times, which is par for the course for Stanton and uncharacteristic at best for DJ. But I'm giving it to DJ just because he, when he came to the plate, seemed like a more consistent positive presence. So, least worst bat, congratulations, I guess, DJ LeMahieu. Next award this week, we're giving out one for Least Effective Strategy. Least Effective Strategy goes to, I I'm hearing that this is a tie, folks! This is a 10-way tie between every single thing the Yankees tried this week. Nothing worked. The opener didn't work. Pitching changes never worked. Keeping Cole in the extra inning, that didn't work either. Changing the batting order didn't work. Legitimately nothing they attempted worked. And I'm not even faulting Aaron Boone here. Just some of that is just like you make all the right moves and all the wrong things happen. So, to win, least effective strategy this week, literally everything. But I would like to end these Zoneys on a positive note, so the last Zoni I'll give out this week is for most heartening sight. And that one, no contest, that goes to Luke Voit. The camera's cut into the dugout today, and there was our buddy Luke hanging out with his friends in the dugout. Not in uniform because he's still on the injured list, rehabbing from that meniscus surgery, but seeing him there was just awesome. He's gonna be back soon. Not soon enough, but soon. There also has been footage shown during the broadcasts of him taking some fielding drills, taking some ground balls, all things that are great to see, all things that mean his road back is moving right along the way we hope, and just the idea of replacing, effectively, Rougned Odor in the lineup with Luke Voit, that's amazing. We love Luke Voit. What a great difference that can make, and frankly, for a team that it seems like they're really stuck in a rut, just having some new energy can really help change that around. Obviously, I hope they turn around before Voit comes back at some point in May. Like, now would be a good time. But in any event, I was extremely heartened to see Luke Voit. So he's winning a Zoni just for being there in the dugout and making me smile. Okay, I'm gonna call it a day there because I am just gonna let us roll into an off day with the hope that perhaps the Yankees will rediscover what it means to play good baseball. I'm wearing this shirt from 2019, Savages in the Box. Maybe this will inspire them to remember that they in fact can hit like the beasts they are. Let's do it, guys. But before we go off into the sunset of an off day, let's talk about our baseball haiku. It is as follows. Yanks lose their 5th straight. I guess the good news would be it can't get much worse. Now, I'm kind of afraid to say that because it can always get worse. But here's something boggling to me. This is about the healthiest the Yankees have been in years, and they're playing their worst. Maybe they're just used to adversity and need some to overcome. Well, if that's the case, they have now created for themselves adversity. They've dug themselves a huge hole in the American League East that they need to start digging their way out of ASAP, aka Tuesday against the Braves. Please do it. Thank you very much. And at the end of this, we're going to have a quote from our bard, the genius, William Shakespeare. This from King Lear. Does not feel like a King Lear moment. It does to me. The quote is, "Pour on, I shall endure." Yes, the rainstorm of early turmoil for the Yankees, it's pouring on my head. But I'm going to keep doing these videos and keep watching these games, even though it sometimes feels like torture to watch, because I do believe in these guys. And, you know, I feel bad for them. They're clearly trying so hard and just nothing is working. So, I'm going to be supportive and hopeful as much as I can be. We're going to watch them and love them and just hope that they play better for us. Please do. But until we see that, let's just keep on hoping and go Yanks!